nation in my mind.
Senator King.
Thank you. We are in, by many measures, a significant and historic recovery, 13.5 million jobs since President Biden has taken office, 800,000 new manufacturing jobs and growing. I know some suggest that, okay, there was going to be a period of recovery after COVID, and some, demean the manufacturing job growth by saying it's just 8% of the economy. But, Mr. Harris, you touched upon this in your testimony. I'd like you to dig in further. How has the recovery in the United States since the darkest days of COVID compared to international peers?
So we're the envy of the world economy. We have grown faster. You've seen stronger consumption growth, in part because the recovery packages that was passed by this body were designed to do exactly that, was maintain consumption throughout the recovery. This is one of the first recoveries we've had where there was virtually no scarring. And it's in stark contrast to what we saw out of the last recession when there was severe scarring. I think we corrected for many of those problems. Secondly, while inflation was worse in the United States for a period, in our economic peers, they've largely caught up. And that's because many of the inflation drivers are global in nature. They're rising food prices, they're rising energy prices, and many other factors we've discussed. So in general, on an international scale, we are the envy of the world. We're growing faster, we're more stable, and our inflation rates look similar.
My chief worry about the economy right now is the labor market. Everywhere I go in Virginia, whether it's my ag sector or my manufacturers or hoteliers, hospitals, shipbuilders, hard to hire people. And I don't think there is a single answer to that. I think it's, better skills training. It is immigration reform that is focused on the workforce. Our birth rate's not going to change. If it did, we wouldn't see it for 25 years. So I think immigration reform is really important. But another component that I think is really important is affordable child care. The number of workers that are out of the workforce, so they're not showing up in an unemployment rate because they're out of the workforce because they can't find high-quality, affordable child care, is significant. And these are often people with very high levels of skills, and they really want to be in the workforce, and it would be great if they could for the economy and for their families and their own sense of well-being and productivity. But if they can't find high-quality, affordable child care, they're not in. And even people who are in the workforce but who are worried about child care, I spent a lot of time on military bases, and I talked to sailors, naval aviators at Oceana Naval Station in Virginia Beach, for example, and they say, the absence of child care means I find something, but I don't feel that comfortable with it. So 5% of my brain when I'm at work, and I'm really supposed to be focusing on the defense of the nation, about 5% of my brain is like, I don't know if my child care situation is very good. So talk a little bit about the connection between affordable, high-quality child care and labor market productivity.
So I agree 100% that too expensive child care and too hard to find child care is a major economic issue, particularly for women, but not exclusively. There's just not enough of it. We saw many child care centers contract, the supply of child care contract over the pandemic. So you've taken a bad situation, you made it worse. The average American family with a child under 5 spends 13% of their income on child care. So for a lot of, in a lot of instances, particularly for second earners, it doesn't make financial sense for them to go into the labor market. So if you came to me and you said, I want to boost labor force participation, what's the single best thing I can do? I would probably say make child care affordable. And you can do that through a host of different strategies. You can subsidize child care. You can subsidize employers to build child care, which is actually where workers want it. They want it at the place of employment. Or you can invest in major block grants that go to states and let them use their discretion. But child care is 100% an economic issue, and I see it as the best avenue for raising labor.
And it's likely to get worse at the end of this month because the child care stabilization funds that were put in place during the COVID public health emergency expire. There's estimates that suggest about 80,000 kids in Virginia could lose child care spots if these funds expire, and about 2,800 child care workers could lose their jobs as the market contracts. We already don't have enough. It's going to get worse if we don't do something about it. It's funny, I've never asked this question before, and I'm kind of surprised I haven't. Dr. Goodspeed, is the Hoover Institution named after Herbert Hoover?
It is.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Chair.
Senator Lujan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, recent census data show that after the pandemic relief program